Hello guys, welcome back. In the last lecture, we looked at the device implementation in our course project. Now, in this lecture, we will use FakerGem to insert dummy data for user model. Okay, we will do this because creating users manually will take time and we will play with limited data. Okay, but by using FakerGem, we can generate a huge amount of data as per our requirement. Okay, so let's start doing that. By the way, we need to do a couple of additional things before using the faker gem to generate fake user data. First, we need to add an attribute contact number to the user model. Okay, and then we need to define an array of some dummy profile titles for the user. Okay, however, both are optional and not mandatory at this point. You can do this later as well, but I'm doing this here because doing this right now will save our effort for later. Okay, so first, let's add a contact number field to the users using a migration. Okay, so first switch to the terminal, and here we need to use the rails generator command to add contact number into the users table. So rails generate or rails g migration. Okay, like in the first lecture we used the rails controller generator. Okay, now we are using the rails migration generator. So what we can do here, rails g migration, add contact number to users, add contact number to users. Okay, and then provide your attribute name, so contact number, and then it must be a string. Okay, now run this command, and after running this command you will see that a new migration has been generated into db migrate folder. Now look at this migration. So just copy this path and switch to the project directory and open this migration. Okay, here you can see that in this migration what we have, that a class that refers to the migration name. Okay, and here you can see that it is inherited by active record migration 7.0. Okay, so whenever you generate a migration you will see something like this. So it will show the current rails version of your project. Okay, since we are working with rails 7, so we are seeing rails 7.0 here. Okay, and here you can see def change. Okay, so this change method is the place where we need to add or remove or change the column attribute as per our requirement. And here you can see that in the change method we called the add column method. Okay, and it requires three argument. Okay, and these three arguments are the mandatory. So first argument to the add column method is the table name. Okay, I mean into which table we want to make changes, and the second argument is the attribute name that we want to add in the table name. Okay, here in our case the table name is user, so contact number we want to add into the users table. Okay, and the third argument is the type of that attribute that you want to add. Okay, so since we are adding contact number, so we choose the string as the type. Okay, and there are other additional attributes as well, like if it is index true or not, or unique true or not. Okay, or if you want to provide default value for that or not. Okay, but I'm not choosing any additional or optional argument here. I'm just going with these three mandatory arguments, that are table name, attribute name, and the type of attribute. Okay, so this is the migration for adding a column into an existing table, and you need to use the migration in similar way if you want to add more attributes in the user table or any other table in future. Okay, now let me show you one final thing for regarding this migration, that here you can see in we have two migrations now, that one we generated for creating user for device, and other one we added generated right now to add contact number in the users column. Okay, so here you can see that the first name in the migration is representing the timestamp of the migration. Okay, and this timestamp is unique and dependent upon the machine's timestamp, and basically it is in utc. Okay, and here if you check this migration, so here you can see that the first four digits represents the year. Okay, the next two digits represents the month, and the next two digits represent the date. Okay, and after date the next two digits are for hours, next two for minutes, and next two for seconds. Okay, so in that way we can have unique timestamps for all the migration in our system. Okay, and now you can open the schema.rb. Okay, so here you can see in the schema.rb that we have users table, but the contact number is still not here. Why? Because we just generated the migration only. We did not run the migration to take effect into the schema file. Okay, so what we need to do, that we need to switch to the terminal and we need to run this migration. So to run a migration, what we use, rails db and then migrate. And as soon as you run this command, you can see that add column method will be called. Okay, and a new contact number attribute has been added to the users, and you can verify this is inside the schema.rb. So in schema you can see that a new attribute contact number has been added here. Okay, and whenever you add any migration, any attribute using the migration, you will see that the attribute is added at the last in the table, and okay, and before all the indexes and constraint. Okay, so the add column migration has been done now, and we need to use dummy profile titles in our user model. So open the user model, and there we will define an array constant that contains the dummy profile titles. So open the user model, user.rb, and here in after the device module inclusion, what we need to do, that we need to define our array constant here. So we can define profile title. Okay, and here just make an array sign, and in this profile title array we can provide some dummy profile names. Okay, for example, let's say senior ruby on rails developer. Okay, and just like full stack ruby on rails developer. Okay, and then it's a senior full stack ruby on rails developer. Just copy this name, and you can also provide junior full stack ruby on rails developer. Okay, and then you can provide, let's say, senior java developer. And let's say senior front end developer. Okay, and that's it. So these are some dummy titles. Okay, however, if you want to keep more dummy titles, then you can do that as well. Since we are making this project for the developers community, so you can provide other title profile titles as well, like let's say senior devops developer, cloud developer, or aws developer, or aws certified developer, anything else. Okay, whatever you want to add here, you can add. Since this is just dummy profile titles, so it's all up to you that how many you want to keep here. Okay, and now you can add freeze method here. Okay, why? Because we are using the array constant and we just want to make it freeze, so it cannot be added dynamically. Okay, now it's time to write some ruby code to create fake user records. Okay, so what we need to do, that we just need to go to the seed file, and you can find seeds.rb inside the db directory. Okay, and in this seeds.rb we just create or we just write active record queries to create dummy records. Okay, and but before writing anything in that, let's verify that how many users we have in the database right now. So open the rails console. Okay, you can write rails c and it will open the rails console, and now let's run the query user.count. Okay, so here you can see that right now we have no user in our system, so we can simply use we can simply write a ruby script to create records for that. Okay, and I would like to create 1,000 records using faker, and if you want to play with less or more data, you can change the loop period according to your needs. Okay, so first switch to the seeds .rb, and here we will use active record, active record, sorry, base dot transaction. Okay, and here do create a block for this, and now in this block what we need to do, let's say 1,000 dot times. Okay, if you want less record, you can use 100, 10, or if you want more, like you can use 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and so on, depending upon your needs. Okay, then 1,000 dot times do, and I here. Okay, and here let me tell you that 1,000 dot times is a iterator here. Okay, so we are using times iterator here. Okay, and it will run for the 1000 times, or whatever you number or range you define here, it will run for that particular time. Okay, and now we need to call user query here, user create query here. So user equal to user dot create. Okay, and then here we need to add all the attributes for this user. Okay, so let's use first name, and we can use faker module's name here. So name module inside the faker, and we can call first name here. Okay, first name, and then last name. Here you can use faker name dot last name. Okay, and then let's say username, and we can also use here let's say faker name dot first name dot down case, and then you can add, let's say, I plus 10 or I plus 1 here. Okay, since this is just dummy, so it doesn't matter. If you we just need unique usernames, so you can provide that. Okay, and it will based upon the I value, it will always be unique. Okay, and now let's provide email, and email must be faker internet email dot email, and you need to use contact number faker phone number dot phone number with country code. Okay, however, just wanted to tell you that all these faker modules I'm using here, like faker name, faker internet, faker phone number, these are all defined at the faker gem. Okay, and you can view it on the faker's GitHub site or faker's GitHub pages. Okay, and then let's add street address, and here we can use faker address module dot street address. Okay, and then city, state, country, faker address, then city, and here you can use dot state. For country you can use faker address dot country, and for pin code you can use faker address postcode. Okay, and now we need to use date of birth. So we can provide some random string to date of a random date to date of birth. Let's say date dot today, make it like this, plus rand, and we can play, let's say, 1 to 30. Okay, 30 dot days. So here you can see date dot today plus rand 1 to 30 days. So now let us see that what it will show us in the console. So if you run this query, you will see 30 May 20,000. Okay, and if you see it again, you will see 9 June 2023. Okay, so now we can use this, and then we need to match again that hyphen rand, then let's say 24 to 36 dot years. Okay, so now using this logic, we will always get the date of birth, which is at least 24 years of age. Okay, and if you will run this on the console, you will get something like this, like 30 May 1990, year 1996, and so on. Okay, so just use that, add the comma here, and now we need to use profile title. Okay, since you can see that we added the profile title constant inside the user model, so we will use this profile title constant. Okay, so just copy this And now we will see that how we can use the constants from the model classes. So model name, and then a double colon here, profile title dot sample. Okay, so what this sample will do, that sample will return any random choice from the array. Okay, it is not one thing always. Okay, for example, if you have 10 elements in the array, then you will got if you call the sample method on that array, then maybe possible you will get first element, second element, last element, or any nth element. For example, let's run this on console as well. So if you run this, you will see here senior Java developer. If you again call this, you will call senior full stack Ruby on Rails developer. So now the profile title will be assigned to each users randomly. Okay, and now let's use password. Okay, so password we can choose as like password. Okay, and then we need to add something for about field. Okay, because about is kind of description of the user. Okay, so we need to use the about. So about, we can provide any dummy text from the lorem ipsum, for example. So now switch to the browser and copy the lorem ipsum here. So we can call lorem ipsum text, and you can visit this link. And in this link, what you can do, that you can simply for example, copy any paragraph from it. Okay, and then use it for the about field. Okay, so just paste it like this. However, let's wrap the word. Okay, so here you can see that it is the about value for every user. Okay, now at the last, what we need to do here, that we need to write a puts command that will show us a message that what user has been created. Okay, so now we can say that user, and you can add like user.id here, created successfully. Okay, and that's it. Okay, however, if you wish, you can simply call user I plus 1 as well. So let's call I plus 1, because in that way we are just avoiding the access of this user object. Okay, because we just need to call the I, and we are getting this inside the loop. So user I plus 1 created successfully. Okay, and save the seed file. So do all these changes and save the seed file. And now before running the seed file, what I would like to show you, that I would like to show you the faker gem. So open the GitHub, and here you can see faker gem. Okay, so open this faker gem, and here you will see that all the details about the implementation of faker gem is here. And now you can see that this is how you can use the faker name, faker address, faker markdown, faker TV shows, and so on. So there are multiple ways to use that. Okay, and there is a specific module list for all the uh, attributes. Okay, so you can follow this faker gem as well. However, for our uses, I showed you everything that what we need to use from the faker, so you can follow this lecture as well. Okay, if you don't want to see the faker gem in detail. However, I would like to encourage you to see the faker gem in detail. Okay, now save the seed file again, and then here you can see that I'm telling you again that I'm using faker to generate fake data for 1000 users. If you want to play with more or less users data, you can change the loop accordingly, or you can change this value for the times iterator accordingly. Okay, now switch to the terminal and run the seed file. Okay, so just switch to the terminal, exit from the rails console, and run the rails db seed. Okay, and when you run the rails db seed, okay, so maybe I make some spelled mistake here. So you can see, okay, uninitialized constant factor. So let's correct that. Where is the factor? Here I made this mistake. So what we can simply use factor. And now come to the terminal again, save the seed file and run the seed file. So rails db seed. Okay, so there is again an error, translation missing. Okay, so there will be state, sorry, these are the typo mistakes. Now save this file again and come to the seed file, come to the terminal and run rails db seed. And now you will see that the users started being created. So you can see user 1 created, user 3 created, user 100 created, and so on. And it will take some time. So just run the seed file and wait for all the users being created for you. And now you can see that it take couple of minutes, and now all the 1,000 users has been created successfully. And to verify this, what we can do, that simply we can visit the Rails console, and now you can run the query user.count. Okay, and you will see the 1,000 users in your database now. Okay, and you can perform user.all to see the all list of users. So here you can see that we have now 1,000 users here, and we can see it here. Okay, so in this lecture, what we did, that we generated fake user data using the faker gem. Okay, and that's it for this lecture. In the next lecture, we will be working on displaying all these users in the grid system on the browser. Okay, meanwhile, try this at your end, and we will meet into the next lecture. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.